So today we're doing something a little bit different. Instead of using our sandpaper and paint, we're going to be using our 3D scanner. We have the Otter version, so we're just going to pull it out of the container and then connect the wire that it comes with. Nice and easy, and then you screw your cap in so it secures it nice and tight, and then plug the USB into the laptop. Next, you want to head over to the Creality website and head to the software page where you can scroll down to the Creality scan tab. You have the updates and older versions, but we're just going to download the most recent file and we're going to save that to our PC. So what you want to do is open the program that you can download to the website, just the Creality scan. And once that pops up, you'll have a window appear. You can go to the Raptor series, the Otter series, or the Ferret series. So if you're not too sure and you're just opening up your scanner, I recommend clicking on this and it'll take you to the internet where you'll find the page that kind of gives you a bit of understanding of what to do with it. But we've already read through that, so we're just going to click the X in the top right. So once you've connected your scanner, you want to just put in new project, and they'll bring up a screen where you just put in your project name. So we're doing a WWE wrestler, and then we're going to change the folder path to what we want. Mine's saving to my desktop, so nothing fancy, and then press the OK. It will then take you to a configurations page where you just tick what you're scanning. So we're doing a normal object, our size is small, our features we're focusing on the geometry, high quality accuracy, and we're disabling the fat face. So if you're not too sure what to select, the little question marks next to the titles kind of give a description of what they are. So before we start scanning, we just have to make sure the project's set up and ready to go. You don't want to start the scanner and then move it and it starts scanning things you don't want to capture. So our model's ready to go. We'll just click the start play button on the right hand side and then it'll start scanning. Alright, so as we start moving around the model, you notice something really cool starts to happen on the screen. So these tiny green lines begin forming all over the figure. So these aren't just little lines, they're actually triangles. So the scanner is building a mesh in real time using thousands of little triangles to map every contour, curve, and crease on the surface. It's basically drawing a digital version of the model right in front of us. Now, as we move around, you might also see some red triangles start to appear. So that's just the scanner telling us like, hey, I don't have enough information or data on this part yet. So the red usually just means the angle or the lighting wasn't ideal for the scanner and it didn't properly catch the geometry shapes. So if you spin the model too quickly or the scanner moves in the wrong place, it can just lose tracking of where it's at. So when this happens, don't panic. Just go back to the last spot your scanner recognized, and as soon as it finds that similar geometry, it'll lock back on and keep building the mesh like nothing happened. If something does go wrong in it and you kind of get a mesh forming off to the side, don't worry, because you can remove that at a later time. I'm also making sure to get the really tricky spots like the underside of his arms, underside of his head, and between his groin. So these angles can be annoying, but capturing them now will save us heaps of time in the cleanup process. And even if you can't get into the small, tight angles, don't worry too much because the software has an auto-filling interface. So once you think you scanned the whole model, just press the stop on the right-hand side and then click yes, and it'll bring you to the next page. So our model came out looking really good. If we just move it around, you can see some areas that didn't fill in, like the base of his feet and underneath his groin. So the good thing with this program is it auto-fills that in the next stage. But before we get there, we kind of just want to clean the model up a little bit. So what you do is click shift on your keyboard and left on your mouse and kind of circle around the areas that you no longer want, and then just press delete. So this just helps the post-processing stage, even though it's going to be computer generated. This makes it a bit easier for it not to just include all random parts. So this is what I like most about this program. It's their one-click finish. All you have to do once you're finished is click that button and it'll process the 3D model for you. So it takes a few minutes to process and load. Once the program is done rendering the file, you should have a 3D model exactly as the one as you 3D scanned. You should have all your colors and all the lines on it with it as well. So on the top left, it says the scan one area. It has the raw, the point cloud, the mesh, and the color mapping. So we have color mapping on now, so we can see the parts that we are scanning with the color. If you had the mesh, you could see all the triangles and the polygons. Underneath you can also see where we had a big hole in it earlier. It's filled itself in, and as well on the feet. Lucky for us, the program does all the hard work for us. So there's also some buttons on the right which have some different settings. That's to help refine the image to make it exactly how you want it if you had any imperfections lying around, but this is really good for us. So all we're going to do is just export this out to our 3D printer. So we're going to save it as a file on our desktop. The printer we'll be using for this one is the Bamboo Carbon. So what we have to do is just upload the file that we recently saved into Bamboo Studios. Once he's in the program, we'll just flip him up so he's on his feet, and then what we'll do, we'll also slice a small layer off his feet as well so he's completely flat. That way he doesn't have any wobble or issues once it's printed and he stands up nice and straight. And then what we'll do is make him the size that we're after. So we're going for 400mm tall, so he will be split into two. So what we're going to do is try split him around the waist. So the reason why I sliced in an area like a belt, it's easier to contour. If you kind of had to go where his abs and his back muscles were, it would be harder to shape, but just around the belt it's a straight line. So it's very easy to bog and sand and have that one join line. So from here, the only thing left to do is just lay your pieces down the way you want them to be printed and then slice the plate and print it. We will go ahead and print this file off tonight and then come back tomorrow for part 2 of us putting it together.